Hey, yo. So yesterday after my walk, I was feeling a little heavy because I just feel like, okay, Lord, I'm doing all the things that you tell me to do. I'm doing everything that I know I'm supposed to be doing, right? I'm praying. I'm bringing it to you. I'm trusting you, like all the things and the stuff, right? But no matter how much you pray, no matter how much you lay it at God's feet, no matter like none of that, like no matter any of that, you cannot skip the waiting room. Yes, sir. I mean, and the thing is, when you waiting, it's that quietness. It's that stillness that starts to kind of rattle your brain a little bit. Like, man, what's happening? Ain't nothing going on. But really, God is working even when it's silent. You feel what I'm saying? And so I was running me a bath, right? And I'm talking about I cut the lights off, lit a candle, just really set the mood because I was just like, man, I want to just be in here. I cut on some jazz music, and I'm talking about just background music, nothing too crazy, nothing real loud. I just wanted to hear it, just enough for me to still be able to hear my thoughts and even hear God and just really have that moment. And as I sat there and just experienced that stillness, I had started like kind of just asking myself, why do you feel frustrated? Why do you feel heavy? Why do you what is it that you are really feeling? Because you know how sometimes we may like label something, but actually we've mislabeled it. Like that's not even, we feel like that's what we're feeling, but that's not like the whole truth. You know what I'm saying? And so I had to be honest with myself and I was like, well, I'm really experiencing frustration and heaviness because it's like, I know that God is about to do something amazing. I know that. And the thing about it is, you know how we be thinking that when God do something, it's about to be like, dun, 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 dun. You know what I'm saying? Like the sirens are about to go off. It's about to be this boom. But really, if we could be like 100, it'd be like the most subtlest movement. You know what I'm saying? And so that's what I feel. Like I don't feel any hype, but I do feel subtleness. You know what I'm saying? And so, but sometimes it be that subtle movement where it's just like, it still ain't happening fast enough. It still ain't happening fast enough. And man, I was sitting there and I was just being honest about where I was. And I just started thinking even though I'm in this space of waiting, I'm grateful that I've been doing the work. Because you know how sometimes when we're waiting, you just be sitting there. You don't even be doing nothing, right? And I actually experienced that a few seasons ago where I would say stuff like, yeah, I'm waiting on God to do it. I'm waiting on God to do it. But it's like, but have you done what he has told you to do? Come on, because we ain't going to be honest, but for real, think about it. How many times on your journey, personally, you have said, man, I'm waiting on God to do it. And you don't even remember the instructions that he gave you. You don't even remember the assignment that he gave you. You know what I'm saying? And so, meanwhile, you are experiencing delay and you're frustrated with the delay, not even understanding how you are the one that's kind of like causing the delay. Because I was thinking about this yesterday where I was like, one of the reasons it's so important for you to do what God says do is because there are people that you will meet along the journey. But if you don't do what God says do, you won't actually run into them. You know what I'm saying? Like the thing about it is you were always going to meet them at this part of the journey. But you have to get here. And so I really been thinking about, just even as I'm in my own personal waiting season, what has this season looked like? Like, we've been active. I ain't even gonna hold you. Like, we just got to the third quarter of the year, and man, like, we've been pumping it out. You know what I'm saying? Curriculum, journals, workbooks, like talking to other people who are on their journey, like helping other people build. We've been creating assessments. Like, we've been doing so many things, like, externally, right? But one of the things that I'm really excited about is what's been happening on the inside. Like, the different things God has been working on, like the inside, that's the stuff that really matters. You know what I'm saying? And so they're all working together. And I'm just like, man, like, I'm really grateful that I have not wasted this season just sitting here and procrastinating, you know? And so it made me think about how many people may be very well experiencing delay, but they don't really understand why they're experiencing delay. You know what I'm saying? And not saying that you're always going to know, but if you be honest about your journey and where you currently are, there are probably some areas within that journey, some things that you're supposed to be doing that you're not doing. You know what I'm saying? And so I wanted to share kind of what I heard today, which was God will provide. And if I could be so honest with y'all, I have spent a lot of my adulthood being the provider. Y'all, I'm serious. Like, when I think about my journey, right? Even when I think about just me being a big sister, being a person that people actually call on when they need something, when they need to talk. Oh, they need a place to lay their head. Oh, they need to go somewhere. They need to do this. They need to do that. Like, I am always the person that is providing, right? And so, like, even when we like hosting stuff, oh, we're going to host it at my house, or we're going to do this, or we're going to do that. And that's how I've spent a lot of my time. That's how I've spent a lot of my relationships. Like, that's literally who I've always been as an individual, right? And so this season of my life where God has had to literally slow me down and sit me down, I did not understand the why until much later. And it's so funny we're talking about this because I wrote this down in my journal this morning. I said, Lord, thank you for slowing me down and sitting me down. Because had you not done that, I still would have been operating the way I was operating. Like, it's one thing to say, you know how it's easy for you to say God will provide or God is providing when everything's cool. You know, you got the bread in the account, you got the job, you got the car, you don't have no worries, right? Nothing is on fire. You know what I'm saying? But literally, when things get on fire, do you still have that same enthusiasm? Do you actually still use that same language of God provides, God is providing, and God will provide? Sometimes you start to, if we're going to be honest, sometimes your feet start to shake. You really start to get weary because you see that things are on fire around you, right? But you are, in fact, not actually on fire. It's just your circumstances. It's on fire, right? And so the thing about it is, though, the fire, and there's nothing that you can do. And that's the thing. God has to get you in a position to where you have to surrender. There's nothing that you can do, right? It's a space that he has to get you to so you can actually see that he is the provider and not you. And sometimes we start being like, man, why do we have to suffer so much? Or why do we have to go through so many things or this or that? And it's like, you don't even know how deep that thing is that's on you. You don't even know how deep it is in you. And so sometimes your circumstances it do got to be a crucible moment, right? You feel me? A crushing, a pruning. Yeah. Because in order for you to truly get the lesson, so you don't have to go through it again, it's got to crush you a little bit. You know what I'm saying? Like, so that you know that you know that you know, it's got to crush you a little bit. It's got to be without a shadow of a doubt. Boom. God is a provider. When we say God will make a way out of no way, it sounds good until literally we are in a situation where we do not see a clear path. We don't even see how God gonna do it. But that's where that crazy faith kick in, and you gotta know that without a shadow of a doubt, no matter what, God is going to do it. You hear me? And I'm so grateful for just the reassurance, man. That's why I be saying, y'all, listen, it is so important to get around community. And I'm talking about, you know how you hear the saying like, oh, you need to be around like-minded individuals. Yeah, you need to be around other people who understand where you at, what you going through, and they have they feel you. You feel what I'm saying? Cause come on, y'all know how like we might be sharing stuff with some people and they can't even relate. They can't even relate to nothing that we got going on. I feel like that often, where I feel like my journey right now, I'm around so many individuals that cannot relate. And I'd be so excited to talk to my spiritual family because they get it. They understand. They are experiencing their own fires. You know what I'm saying? And we just get to literally sit around and talk. And yeah, like it's crazy. It's crazy. It's crazy, but it's good. And this reassurance though, man, just knowing that even in the middle of your situation, I know you waiting on God, but God sees you. God feels you. God is working for you, and God is going to serve you. And it's crazy because when I sit and I think about like those 4 things, it took God to get me in this position in order to see him work for me, serve me, and not even just serve me, but put people in position that don't even want to serve me. Put people in position to serve me that don't even want to help me. And if I could be so honest, that is so uncomfortable because you know how they be like, you know, you're supposed to be a cheerful giver, right? And so I literally would get frustrated with God, like, Lord, why do you have people around me? You put them in position to help me, but they don't really want to help me. They don't really want to do it. And it makes me uncomfortable because it's like, I know that you have positioned them to do it, but I'm watching. You feel what I'm saying? I'm watching how they move. I'm watching what they say. Like, I'm even watching how they perceive me. You know what I'm saying? And it's just all uncomfortable. And I'm just like, man, Lord, I can't wait for I'm in a position to be able to do it for myself, do it for myself, do it for myself. And it's like, it's not about you getting in position to do it for yourself, because that's the thing. Even when God repositions you to have all the things that you need and more, God still wants you to know that he is the provider. Like, don't ever forget that God is the provider. And I'm just like, I won't forget. I'm not going to forget. I don't forget, because I know the only reason that I am where I am today, I am who I am today, is because God intentionally positioned me, provided for me, is providing for me, like everything. You feel what I'm saying? And so I'm just like, man, when you in that waiting room, in that waiting season, because that's another thing. I actually was writing this down this morning. When I think about that there are 365 days in a year, right? The thing about no matter what day it is, we are always in the middle of a season. And so it made me think about this life pie. And with the life pie, it pretty much includes every area of your life. And so I was just thinking like, well, what season are you in? Because I think it is important to be able to identify the different seasons that you're in. So you know that like for us, we go through 4 seasons, right? That's winter, spring, fall, summer, right? What I've been like thinking about, I've been doing some research on this. And I was actually talking to some of my friends about this recently. And I actually was talking to God about it. I was like, Lord, I don't feel like I am in the wilderness season anymore. I feel like I'm in another season. And, it feels like the season of like preparation, but I want to just know, are there like other seasons, right? And so come to find out, there are actually 8 seasons in your life that you experience. And I actually want to, I know it's a lot, but I want to share it with y'all. And I hope that as I'm sharing it, you start to see your own situation and you kind of be able to identify where you are. And keep in mind that with the seasons, you could be experiencing more than one season in different areas of your life, right? So don't feel like you just got to limit yourself to one season. But the first season that I want to tell you about is the awakening season. And basically with the awakening season, this is where God gets your attention. Man, I'm going to just pause because I'm like, bruh, the world is so loud, right? Your world is so loud. And if we could be completely honest, it is full of distractions, right? And so the best way to get your attention is going to be different from, how God gets somebody else's attention. You know what I'm saying? And so when God gets your attention, it may happen at like salvation, after a crisis, or after years of drifting. Your eyes are finally open to who God is and who he's calling you to be, right? And so the focus becomes identity. Who am I? And I know for me, I didn't know I was in like an awakening season. Like I didn't have the language for it, but I had the experience of it. You understand what I'm saying? And that's why I think it's important to really be able to label what you are experiencing, be able to identify it so you know what you're walking through. You feel what I'm saying? So another season is called surrender, the surrender season. And this is where you begin to lay things down. And when I say things, I'm talking about old habits, old identities, control, pride, comfort. Like God is often asking you to release something before he entrusts you with something greater. So the focus here is obedience. And the question becomes, what do I need to let go of? Yeah, I don't know. I think when I think about my own journey, I think surrender was, and it still is complicated because if we could be honest, these are things that you want. Now, even though they might not be serving you well, even though they might not be serving you well, you still want it. You know what I'm saying? You still have an attachment to it. And I remember, man, this is so good. I actually remember a season where I had to surrender something very important to me. And it was my relationship. And the thing is, I knew I needed to surrender it. And if I could be transparent, I ain't even really want it for real. Like, you know how we start settling for stuff just because that's what's available, but really we want something. We want something else. Like, I know for me, I always talk like, man, I want something real good to eat. And then I end up eating McDonald's, knowing that's not really what I wanted. Like, When I first thought of, I want something real good, I promise you McDonald's did not come up in my mind. But it's like, okay, well, how did you get to the point of getting McDonald's though? Because I settled. It was the most convenient. It was the closest. I didn't want to put in any extra effort to go the extra mile to go and get the things that I really wanted. So I just settled for what was near and what's available. We don't just do that with food. We do that with relationships. We do that with jobs. We do that with friends. We do that in different areas of our life, if we're going to be honest. Another season, and now here's the season that I kept kind of like overusing this word, and that's the wilderness season. I say overusing because that was the only language that I had. Like, I'm struggling. I'm going through a situation. Oh, I must be in my wilderness season. And it's like, don't always really mean that, but we'll dive into it. The wilderness season is often the most misunderstood. The wilderness is not punishment. And I know you've probably heard people say that, but I really need you to understand that the wilderness is preparation season, but you determine how prepared you are going to be. Now, and I say you, like, you determine, you decide. I say that because it is on you. When you go through this wilderness season, it's going to be on you to make the decision to lean in. It's going to be on you to make the decision to trust God, even when it feels like nothing is happening, nothing is moving, nothing is changing. I don't understand what's going on. I don't understand like XYZ. Like, it's going to be on you to keep moving through it anyway. This is where God removes distractions, exposes what's on the inside of you, teaches dependence, and develops character. Many people want to get out of the wilderness season as quickly as possible. I ain't even going to hold you. That was me. I remember there was a time where I felt like God had blessed me so good. And I'm talking about, the verse that says God is going to do exceedingly abundantly above all that you can ask or imagine. Man, I was in that season of my life. And I'm talking about, man, I felt like I was experiencing overflow and drowning at the same time. I'm telling you, oh my goodness. Oh, it was a ride. It was a ride. And I remember I started feeling it slip out of my hands. And I was like, Lord, I don't want to go back in the wilderness season. I don't want to go back in the wilderness season. And so I started trying to grab everything. And it was just like, the more I was trying to hurry up and rush it and hold it and that, the more it started to slip out my hand even more. And what I didn't recognize is God was actually even saving me in that moment. Even though things were being pulled from me, that season had to happen in order to expose what still needed to be developed in me. You hear me? And I'm not saying it felt good, because it didn't. Y'all, I grieved that season for so long. I grieved that season because I just couldn't wrap my mind around, how the heck did you let that happen? How did you fumble? How did you this? How did you that? Well, if I just had people to talk, and if I just had this, and if I just had that. And it was just like, yo, stop thinking that you're coming from a place of lack. You have all that you need. Now you have to be honest about what's on the inside of you. There was something on the inside of you that this situation, you only could have seen it through this situation. You understand? And so, man, I had to go back through the wilderness season, and God literally had to continue to develop me in different areas that I needed to be developed in. The areas where I felt like I was drowning, those are the areas that he had to, you know what I'm saying, spend some more time with me in. And so the focus during the wilderness season becomes trust. Yeah, will I trust God when I don't understand him? Goodness. Yeah, I'm telling y'all, man, this is so good to me. And so the other season that I want to tell you about is the season of preparation. Now, this is different from the wilderness because this is where God is actually transforming you. So in preparation, God is training you for what you are about to steward. And so this is where skills are developed, wisdom increases, discernment grows, opportunities begin appearing. And I think sometimes it is easy to label this season as harvest season. Yep, because we start seeing things actually begin to change and, transform. We start thinking, oh, I'm in harvest season. I'm in harvest season. And it's like, no, anytime that you get ready to cook a meal, it is best that you actually prepare it. Like, and I'm talking about like prep it. Like, for example, you about to do some chicken. I'm talking about, if you know, clean that chicken. Yeah. I'm talking about clean it thoroughly. Yeah. Wash that chicken. Yeah. Season that chicken. Put a binder on that chicken so when you get ready to actually put your seasonings on there, it stick, it stay. You know what I'm saying? And then let's say you're going to fry the chicken. Yeah. See, you want to get the best type of oil to put the chicken in. Yeah. Like it's a process. You got to prepare it. Right. And next thing before you, you didn't season that chicken well. You didn't dipped it in that grease or you didn't put it in the oven, the air fryer, whatever your container is. Yeah. And when you eat that chicken, I'm talking about you bite into it the first bite. Man, it's probably some of the best chicken that you done made. Yeah, it was because it had to be prepared. You understand what I'm saying? And I feel like life is the same way. I think it was Benjamin Franklin. Now don't get me to don't quote me for real, but I was looking at this the other day and I think it was Benjamin Franklin who spoke on failure to prepare is preparing to fail. Something like that. But basically what it's saying is if you don't actually prepare, you are preparing to fail. And it's interesting because as I've been in my own season of preparation, not even understanding why am I prepping this stuff? What is this stuff even for? I've never even done this before. This is not even what I'm interested in for real. This is not even what I do. But I feel Holy Spirit tugging on me like, yo, do this, do that, do this, have this together. And it's just like, okay. I did it. And it's crazy because you don't even know what God is having you prepare. You don't even know what season He gonna use it in. But this is why it's just important to be obedient. Don't worry about the what, the when, the how. Just focus on the obedience. Yeah, for sure. Preparation is the practice before the platform. And so the focus is stewardship. Can I handle what I am asking God for? Ooh-wee. Listen, y'all better come on. Y'all better lean in. Another season I want to talk about. Remember, it's 8, so I know this is a little long, but just go with me, okay? Boom. Another season I want to talk about is the pruning season. Many people think pruning only happens before the blessing. And actually, pruning usually happens after you've already become fruitful. Yeah. Jesus says branches that bear fruit get pruned so they'll bear more fruit. God starts removing things that aren't sinful, but they are simply no longer necessary. This could be commitments. This could be relationships. This could be good opportunities that distract you from great assignments. Y'all, come on. Yo, the focus in this area is about refinement. What's keeping me from greater fruit? Y'all know that season that I was just telling y'all about? The one where I was experiencing overflow and drowning at the same time? God had blessed me with an amazing opportunity. And it's interesting because it started to, I don't know, it started to kind of take its own shape. You know what I'm saying? Like, the job was the opportunity was an amazing idea, but the company actually didn't have the structure to like contain it. You understand what I'm saying? And so there was no guidelines, there was no structure, there was no pathway. It was just all over the place. And so I remember I was dating my fiance at the time. She was like, "Babe, I think you need to quit your job." And I was like, "What?" First of all, I just got this job. Let's just start there. I created the job. And so it's like, what you mean? What you mean? Quit it. She like, I feel like it's actually keeping you from leaning into elevation talks. Like, when you come home, you be so stressed out, you drinking more, you eating your edibles. Like, it's like you don't really be having the desire for real to work on elevation talks. And she was right. But at the time, I didn't know how to receive it, because in my mind, I'm like, okay, let go of my job and then what? I don't have no money saved up. You gonna take care of me? Nah, that don't even, we not, nah. I don't even trust that, right? And so literally the job pulled me in, the opportunity pulled me in even further. And not saying that I should have like listened to her, but it was like that was the first time I started taking notice of what was going on. You know what I'm saying? It was somebody around me that wasn't afraid to be like, "Hey, I see you. And I feel like this kind of overtaking you." You know what I'm saying? But I was holding on. I had that grip on there was tight, because I'm like, man, shoot, I just got this. Like, I ain't been making no money in months. You know what I'm saying? Boom, God then blessed me with this opportunity. Like, nah, like I'm holding on. It's like as tight as I can and as long as I can. You know what I'm saying? And keep in mind, that was my first time even experiencing something to that degree, like to that magnitude. So yeah, nah. You telling me to let it go? Nah, if God ain't said let it go, shorty, I ain't letting it go. Yes, sir, I'm telling you. Another season that I want to talk about. Now, this season right here, I think this is a lot of us, this is our most favorite season, and that's the harvest season. This is where many prayers begin to materialize, doors open, favor increases, influence grows, provision comes, promises really begin unfolding. But the harvest isn't simply receiving, it's also responsibility. Yeah, listen, the larger the harvest, the greater the stewardship. And so the focus here is multiplication. Yeah. How will I steward what God has entrusted to me? Y'all, this season that I've been telling y'all about, I feel like that when I was experiencing overflow and drowning at the same time, I feel like I experienced all of these different seasons so fast, like just in so many different ways. And that's why, remember I told y'all earlier, you could be experiencing several different seasons just in different areas of your life. If you look at, like the life pie, it's all connected. That's another word for another day, right? Another season is the expansion season. Now, this is where once you've proven faithful with a little, God often enlarges your territory. I'm talking about more influence, more people, greater responsibility, and greater or bigger assignments. Expansion isn't about becoming famous. It's about increasing your capacity to serve. And so the focus here is capacity. Can you carry more without losing your intimacy with God? That was another thing that I experienced during that space of overflow and drowning. I went from God being the center of my day to me just making time for him when I get time. And it's like some people think that, well, I still made time, so that should be good enough. And for some people that might work. But I know for me, God, like, that don't work for him. When you didn't have all of these blessings that I gave you, you would wake up first thing in the morning and you would spend time with me. You would spend the first part of your day with me. Center your day around me and then have your day. And I know for some people, they might feel like, okay, well, if I got a job, then I can't, I got to get ready for work. I got to get the kids ready. I got to do this. I got to do that, which that's your responsibility. You got, but yeah, definitely do that. But if that's the case for you, that means you have to wake up earlier so that you can actually spend dedicated, intentional time with God. You have actually prepared this time to spend with him so that you can get the instructions and the flow for your day. Now, I'm going to be honest with y'all. There's been times where I haven't done this. The days that I didn't have intentional time, those have been my most hectic days. And I'm not even playing. Like, I literally got it down to a science where I started recognizing, today, man, today was so full of havoc. And I started kind of recapping my day, like, okay, well, what happened? What didn't happen? And I'll be able to identify, I didn't even talk to God this morning. I didn't even have any intentional time. Meanwhile, it could have been during that intentional time where he could have actually given me the directions, the instructions, the everything that I would have needed to help carry me through the day. You feel me? Another season, and it's the last one. Now, this is the season of rest. This is actually one of the seasons that I struggle with the most as I am sitting in it in this moment. So with the season of rest, this doesn't mean do nothing, right? Biblical rest is living from God's presence rather than striving. You've learned to trust God enough that your soul isn't constantly anxious about what's next. So the focus here is communion. Can I enjoy God even when I'm not chasing something? So, two things for me when it comes to rest. I come from hustle culture, right? No days off. I'll sleep when I'm dead. You know what I'm saying? Like, rest got to be earned. You feel what I'm saying? And with God, it's actually the complete opposite. Like, who are you when you are not striving? Yeah, like, I had told myself that once I got done building out the unmuted assessment and the materials that went with that I was going to actually finally take an off season. And the crazy thing is, I was actually talking to my friends about this. I was like, I had never taken an off season before. Like, and they was like, okay, but think about it though. Everybody has an off season. Think about it. Schools, they out for the summer. Sports players, like, they have off seasons. I was like, dang, you know what? Come to think about it. Yeah, people do have off seasons. You should have one. And so, I don't know, I just kind of always think like, oh, I'll rest when that big break comes. And it's like, actually, no, because when the big break happens, you're still going to have to do things to actually sustain and multiply. You understand? So I'm just like, dang, that's crazy. So literally, as I've been like in my own personal off season, it's almost like I don't know what to do with myself. Like, I enjoy building so much, or that has become my thing where it's like resting is boring to me, right? But it's like I really struggle with that. And it's crazy because I've been leaning on God to basically, handle the outcomes more, right? And so with leaning on him with the outcomes has helped me, like, instead of me doing it, I got to trust that he's going to do it. And me trusting him is me surrendering and taking my hands off of it. And so a lot of times God can't even do it because we still have our hands on it, right? But I remember recently I was sitting here just watching TV, just wasn't working, I was just enjoying. I was actually getting my feet massaged. Like I was just chilling. And out of nowhere, I got this text message from, somebody that's important. And they was like, Nay, I love your assessment, the called and clear. Like it's everything. Like, yo, we need to meet. I need to pull you in closer relationally. Da 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 da. And I was looking at that and I'm like, I wanted to pay attention to what I was doing in that moment where I'm like, wow, Lord, you are so faithful. Like, and it takes me back to the whole point of this, which is God will provide. Like, I know that a lot of times, even when it don't make sense, it don't seem like nothing is happening. It don't seem like, God, have you left? Do you hear me? Do you see me? Don't you see I'm struggling? Don't you see I'm going through the fire? Like, don't you see that I'm still standing here even in the midst of my own circumstances? I'm still sitting here trusting you. I'm still sitting here waiting on you. And I know you get tired of waiting, man, but even while you waiting to be served. Yeah, man, waiting to be seen, waiting to be taken care of, waiting to be chosen. Like, man, God see you. God feel you. God hear you. God ain't forgot about you. And it's okay for you to take a break. I don't know who need to hear this, and maybe this is just me. Rest. Rest. Rest so this can actually be your sabbatical, so this can replenish you, because when God do call you, and now it is time for you to be seen, now it is time for you to be served, now it is time for you to be elevated, you're going to need the energy and you're going to need the capacity. You're going to need to be able to steward over all of that. You understand what I'm saying? And you're not going to steward well if you're tired. You're not going to be able to steward well if you're not focused. You're not going to be able to steward well if you can't even handle the multiplication of what you've been asking God for. And so just know, man, God is so faithful. Probably one of the dopest things that I really, really love about God, but I also had to learn over time, is God is exactly who he say he is. And he don't change. Like his character, he is literally the same God that he was yesterday, years ago, centuries ago, man, people ago, all of that. And it's funny because I was writing this down. I think it's in here. Hold on, let me see. Pull it open real quick. I was wanting to find basically I was about to say something, but I don't even remember. I was trying to find it in my book just now, but I can't even see it. But maybe we'll talk about it next time, y'all. But man, listen, just real quick before I get out of here, I just wanted to share that, like, while you're in your waiting season, y'all, just know that God is going to provide, and he's going to use people that don't even want to do it for you. You know what I'm saying? There are going to be people that he whispers to them. He mentions your name to them. And I'm speaking from lived experience, y'all. Yeah, I'm speaking from lived experience. God will mention your name to people. My goodness, he will mention your name to people. He'll put your names are already in rooms that your feet have not even stepped in. Yeah. But just be ready. And I think that's the biggest part. When God does do it, be ready. And also, do not forget that it was him. Do not forget that he did it. Give him all the glory, the praise, the honor. Yes, sir. Yeah, yeah. Amen. I appreciate everybody tuning in all around the world. Thank y'all as always. Y'all, this has been another super dope elevation talk. And I appreciate y'all rocking with me on this journey. I'm excited for what's coming, man. And that's the thing. Get excited for what God is doing, has already done, and is getting ready to do. Y'all, get up with me at Nate Liggins on Instagram, Nate the Gym Dropper on TikTok. Email me at elevationtalks@gmail.com, whatever. Send me y'all DMs, man. Come get up with me. Like, I want to hear y'all stories. I want to hear about what God has been doing. And I even want to hear about how these elevation talks have been a blessing to you. And speaking of a blessing to you, if it has been a blessing to you, share it. Yeah, send it to somebody else who need it, man. And when you get in a moment of you feeling heavy, run it right back. You understand what I'm saying? I'm going to get up with y'all, man. And until the next time, set it up and run it up per usual. And don't forget to add God into the conversation. Peace. I really feel it's my time, think it's my year.